So it's time to start a tradition of like basically ripping news off of the Magic subreddit. And I think an interesting thread that I found was the top 5 scoring submissions of the week from our custom Magic. They make custom Magic cards. So now coming in at number 5, Turtle Island. Turtle Island, people. Very interesting. Maybe I gotta zoom out a little bit more. We're a little too close. Gotta keep some space. Keep your distance, you custom Magic cards. So Turtle Island, it's a land. It's an island, so you can fetch this thing out of from your library. Turtle Island enters the battlefield tapped. You can also tap return Turtle Island to its owner's hand, but it's got a second. It's like a dual face. It's a double-sided card. It's an 8 mana, 8/8 creature that has hexproof. But here's like, what is the point of this card? I guess the idea is you can fetch this out in the late game and then tap, return it to your hand, and then cast your giant turtle. This would be the first time a turtle would ever be playable. Remember, we're looking at custom Magic cards, people. These are fake cards, all right? This is not coming out in Jumpstart or something. Some people may be like, oh my god, are these new cards coming out? No, these are custom-made cards. This for funsies. It's a very interesting design. Listen up, wizards. You learn some lessons here. A time to kill, 3 mana instant. This spell costs black less to cast if you didn't go first this game, and destroy target creature. That's very interesting. So it's cheaper on the draw, but if you're on the play, it's pretty clunky. It's actually a really well-designed card. There has been actually a lot of pros that have spoken up about we need cards that give you an advantage for being on the draw, because on the draw, actually I don't even know if being on the draw is that bad anymore. It is bad in certain matchups, but like having that extra card actually means something, especially in today's modern metagame. Maybe in standard and draft, it's devastating, but like, you know, being first isn't the be-all end-all these days. Is this the coffee addiction stream? That's right. This is the if you have an addiction, we don't judge you here. In fact, we welcome it. We welcome your coffee addiction. All right, so that was number 4. Remember, we're looking at custom Magic cards, people. I don't want people to jump in and say, oh my god, is this being printed in Jumpstart? No. End of an era. 7 mana. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Take an extra turn after this one. Holy crap. But is that necessary? If you're taking an extra turn, do you really need to kill something at the same time? It's just a very expensive time walk. Interesting. This one made number 3. Maybe it's important. I mean, I could maybe killing a creature while getting an extra turn is pretty good. Doesn't play draw matter most in the Ragavan format? Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Ragavan decks are attrition based, right? So being on the draw against a Ragavan deck might actually have some advantage, especially if you have enough removal for the Ragavan, because the Ragavan is only as strong as much as you can protect it, but if you can't protect it, then it doesn't matter. So if you're on the play, you have less cards than your opponent who's on the draw, and if you go turn 1 Ragavan and then they just kill it with Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt, then I mean, you didn't get any value. I mean, ideally you play the Ragavan turn 1 and get in for damage, but that doesn't always happen. Torborg says, how goes it? Yeah, having a card mean a bit more on the draw seems like it could be healthy to me. Very rarely is the draw an advantage. When it seems when it is, it's marginal. I mean, when the draw is bad, the draw is devastating. Absolutely devastating. Okay, coming in at number 2 for custom Magic cards of the week. I'm going too far here. Carsini Evolutions Apex, and we got like this memey crab here. A legendary crab, 1/4 creature. Whenever another creature evolves or mutates, it instead loses all abilities and becomes a blue crab creature token with power and toughness 1/1. Whenever another creature evolves or mutates, it instead loses all abilities. What's the point of this? Whenever another creature evolves or mutates, it instead loses all of its abilities. Like, exactly what is this card supposed to hate on? It's supposed to hate on evolving creatures or mutating creatures? Is that a big portion of the custom Magic card metagame? I don't know about this one. I feel like these submissions are actually getting worse and worse as we get to number 1. Number 1! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Rocket jumping, 1 red and enchantment. Soldiers have 0. This creature deals 1 damage to itself and gains flying until end of turn. If you ask me, they should have reversed the order. I mean, this is, they should have inversed it. Rocket jump should be number 5. Carcini number 4. End of an era could be 3. A time to kill number 2. And Turtle Island number 1. Turtle Island got robbed hard. This is a great card. This is a great card, a great design. It's awkward. They don't make cards like this anymore because they don't want to make lands that don't produce mana. It's just something they don't want to do. But anyway, that is the top 5 of the week. Top 5 scoring submissions of the week from the R Custom Magic subreddit. All right, welcome, Coffee Crew. Welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. Also, we do Decklist review. So if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the Coffee Crew would like to take a look at it and give you some feedback. So brew up those coffees, Coffee Crew. Let's brew up some magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for August 4th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, MTG Box, Walter, Frederick, Hot Cold Man, Gold Medals, nothing but. Eric, Rick Ego, Staffen, Dr. Glass Bottle, good morning, Benjamin, MTG Ectoplasm, Marie, Aztec Guy, Neil, good morning, Tyler, good morning, Jackson, Mario, Beware, good morning, Direwolf MTG, and Leontaz. Awesome. So, hey, Dr. Pepper. The Dr. Pepper. You know how it goes on this show. This show runs off of sponsorship. It also runs off of ad revenue. But today's sponsor, the same as all the other days, but it's still worth mentioning every day. FusionGamingOnline.com. Your place to buy all paper Magic singles and sealed product. Deal of the week this week, however, save 15% off old Jumpstart singles and sealed product. This is a Canadian store, so they're only going to send the sealed product within Canada. However, you can get the singles they send internationally, worldwide. You better believe they send to Europe and etc. And if 15% off the Jumpstart singles isn't enough, 15% off not enough for you, 5% more. If you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout, supports the channel, saves you money. And also, we're going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And if if you're frustrated with one deck, you want to move to another, you don't have to sell the whole damn thing out and buy it again and buy a new one. You just rent decks with Mana Traders. Try all that you want. If you can't stick to one deck, hey, that's what Mana Traders is for. It's for the people who want to play everything. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. All right, you know the drill. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your questions amongst all the comments I'm getting on Facebook, all my YouTube channels, etc. But you can cheat the system with super chats. Donate with a super chat on YouTube, and your question gets pushed to the top of the feed. Dan W, quick, give us a non-Merfolk custom card that would benefit the modern meta as a whole. Well, I don't know about the modern meta as a whole. It's only going to benefit Merfolk. You know what? Maybe something like, okay, Champion of the Parish that has protection from 1 CMC cards. Gonna punish those 1 CMC decks. They're gonna get punished. That crab is a standard sideboard card. That's hilarious. Oh, wait, yeah, again about the draw. We're talking about more advantages of being on the draw. Damn, chat really can't get enough 8-rack. It's funny, the 8-rack community coming out to Coffee and MTG. Boss Lighter says, hey Nikachu, I'm no modern expert, but your vids are very entertaining. Keep it up. You're welcome. Thank you very much. I'm getting people who don't even play Magic on this channel. We got Yu-Gi-Oh players, Pokemon players, and I think we're also getting just people who don't even play card games. It's all good. I don't know how they can stay for the stream, but it's all good. All right. Kha'Zix, the Void Reaver. Is it just a meme because the final form of evolution is the Rave Crab? That's a good point. That's a good point. Jose Sunstrom, why soldiers get flying? Wouldn't it make more sense to give that to humans, a far more popular tribe? I don't know. Maybe the soldiers need to fly. A soldier will go in the... I don't know if your average human takes flight, but a soldier, they take flight through helicopter, through planes. Ray Cianello, Pioneer event at my local game store. I have 2 decks. Only one is good, but I haven't been practicing with it. I've been having too much fun playing my stupid janky pet deck. Which should I bring? I could say bring the pet deck until you're done losing with it. And then once you have some sense in you, play the good deck and start winning again. All right? Yeah, I mean, the problem is if you play the good deck, you're like, oh, but what if the pet deck could have done just as well? So just play the pet deck, get your losses out of the way. Maybe you'll win. Who knows? I don't know the power of your janky pet deck, but you know, you got to satisfy your curiosity, and it's all about the curiosity. So you take the pet deck, and when you're done losing with it, like, you get back to business. Rick Ego with Achu is the name. Is the name are a Pokemon fan? If so, favorite Pokemon? It was derived from Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon? I don't want to say anything cheesy like Mewtwo or Mew or anything like that. You know, I don't want to go hardcore about this, but maybe Sandshrew. I'll say this: back in the day when I played Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, well, first of all, I didn't play both of them. I had to pick one. I picked Blue because you could only get Sandshrew in Blue. Well, I'm gonna go show you a Sandshrew. I don't want to say this is my favorite Pokemon, but I know this this defined which Pokemon Red or Blue I went through. This is Sandshrew. I think he's cute. I think he's pretty cute. Name your favorite Pokemon in chat or in the comments section. Favorite Pokemon. The problem is I don't even know most of the I mean, I know the first 151, you know? 152 if you count Missing No. Chat about go wild with everyone mentioning their favorite Pokemon. MTG Ectoplasm inventing a card. Peekaboo, a blue 1/1 flying spirit, and it has peek when it enters the battlefield. This is my custom. Oh, I would love that for Merfolk as well. That would be, I would love it. I might even just take that design. Replace it with Merfolk, but it's hard for Merfolk. I don't know, they're making flying Merfolk now. Since when do fish fly? A lot of fish fly these days. I guess on Zendikar they break the rules of gravity. LK, how about a harsh deck roast instead of usual humble deck review? You know, double the hate, triple the disappointment. I used to do stuff like that, and I sort of still do. But it's not really a roast because it's not valuable to people. Here's the problem with videos like that. Like, this deck is terrible. People aren't particularly interested in looking at what's bad. People are interested in looking at what's good. So what's good gets more views than what's bad. I know the idea sounds good in principle, but in general, you know, it sort of comes along the lines of some content creators that are like, you know, learn from my mistakes, and I make a lot of them. Well, you know, a lot of people make mistakes. We want to see what's, you know, how to do things the right way. So it sort of falls in line with that. Mikey J says, it saves me money, you say. Well, I mean, you could look at, or it saves you money if you're already buying. Another way of looking at it is you're losing less money on magic cards. You could not spend money on magic cards. I mean, that is an option too. In some sense, you make money if you don't spend the money on magic cards. Because in one universe, you spent the money, in another one you didn't. Therefore, you basically made money. Iron Helix, good morning. I played most of your Fish Tempo list from Sunday yesterday. I replaced Threads with Entrancing Melody. Can you explain the reasoning behind Threads? You can steal 2 drops at 3 mana, but Entrancing. So if we look at Threads of Disloyalty, like, you don't have time to go to 4 mana. It's hard to get to 4 mana with Merfolk, but 3 mana is easy. So Thread says you can only enchant a creature with converted mana cost 2 or less. So you can steal anything at 2 or less. But the thing is, Entrancing Melody. Oops. You need to pay 4 mana to get it. Like, in general, when I cast this card, it's mine. Your soul is mine. This is permanent, but, like, you're just spending more mana to go anything beyond 1. You can, however, steal things that are 3 drops, 4 drops, and 5 drops, but there's not that many in Modern, so. If you want to play with this card, it's fine. It's okay. But I still think Threads is better. Walter, how do you determine when to put in a non-tribal creature into a tribal deck, like when you were running Skyclave in Merfolk, or if I was running Kira Great Glass Spinner or Vendilion Click? You need the utility. It's got to have a purpose, like a really solid purpose. And at that time, Skyclave was good against the combo decks. It was good against Amulet decks because I could hit the Adride of the Elysian Grove. It was good against the Karn of the Great Creator decks because I could either exile the Karn or the Ensnaring Bridge that it got. And it was good against Heliod combo because I didn't really have any good answer to Heliod Company, Heliod Sun Crown. So it needs to have some very specific utility that no other card can give you within your tribe. Could they make a blue counter spell, counter target spell draw card? Don't they have something like this already? Maybe not. I mean, I think it's not 2 modes, of course, but Archmage's Charm does a pretty good impersonation of this, and I'll explain why. Most of the time, control players just want to spend 3 mana to draw cards, like 2 cards. You're going to get 2 cards out of this, and then some of those cards are going to be counter spells. I understand you have to spend more mana on it. They could probably... Hold on, no. They could probably design something like this. I think the closest they have is a 4 mana counter spell that actually literally is like counter target spell draw card, but if you made it triple blue, maybe they could go that direction. It'd be interesting if it would see play. It might. I mean, the real value of I don't know, I don't want to say any part of this is the real value, but like it's really nice that you can steal 1 mana permanence. Well, Cryptic Command is 4 mana. And more modes. More mana, more modes for that Cryptic Command. Alright, let's look at some, you guys love Bulbasaur. Oh, Meowth is a good one. I can get behind that. Well, I gotta go up a little bit further. Skarmory, I have no idea what that is. You know, I probably picked up a bunch of... Oh, I remember that. I got a trading card of this guy, and it was very metallic looking. Is it a good one? Is this rare? Skarmory, never heard of it. Volcarona. I'm such a boomer. Like, I don't know these guys. Oh, this guy's pretty cute. Oh, an actual PGN. Slowpoke, see, that's classic. I can remember these guys. Psyduck, absolutely. Also had a huge influence on the cartoon show. Goomy. I don't know this one. Oh, this guy's cool. Rhinehorn Hands, Team Dragonite, the whole Team Dragonite. Oh no, is there such thing as a Team Dragonite? Like there's a bunch like Team Rocket but in Dragonite form? Is this it? This can't be Team Dragonite. There's a fucking Mew in there. I guess it's just Dragonite. The big flying dinosaur. Jigglypuff, Gyarados, Slowbro, and Umbreon. Dragonite, Cubone, Okay, I don't know Darkrai. This guy's scary. This is a scary dude. Zapdos, Meowth, Hounder, and Houndoom. Oh god. Okay, hold on. I'll be back in a second. I think Amazon's here or something. Be right back, everyone. Amazon called. Amazon. Amazon. I don't even know what I bought. It's like a flimsy package. Feels like there's a pair of underwear in there, but I don't remember ordering any underwear. Okay, other favorites. Bulbasaur, Slowking, Whimsor, Weevil. My favorite Pokemon is Donphan Terrible? Hold on, I didn't even look up Houndour and Houndoom. This looks like some sort of tank. Houndour and Houndoom. Ooh. The dynamic duo. Man. I feel like I have to like go back and actually play like all the Pokemon games that I haven't played in for forever. Pokemon and Coffee. One day maybe we could be all the TCG games. Unfortunately, I don't know shit about Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't really know anything about Pokemon either, but I'm at least loosely familiar with it. Spencer P, with Exile being used more, thoughts about adding Exile removal / interaction? They did one with Adventure. What do you mean by thought? Okay, thoughts on adding Exile removal / interaction. They did one with Adventure. Oh, you mean cards in Exile can be used? But that was a little bit different. It's not like the card went to exile from the graveyard. It just purposely went to exile and it could be cast from there. They'll probably still do stuff. I mean, we have that already, right? So I mean, they could do it again. And I like it because it's a way of creating card advantage without breaking the game is what I want to get at. Let's see. Do you think Urza's Saga will get axed now? Yes. It's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. Urza's Saga is a 0-mana tutor. Like, it's sort of like Birthing Pod. This is going to restrict design space on artifacts for eternity. And there might already be something super busted right now. Like, you could argue this already is broken through Hammer Time, and banning Colossus Hammer isn't going to be the solution in that scenario. It's just it's a tutor that creates creatures, and it adds mana. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't put a 4th chapter on this damn thing. Like, it's pretty pushed. It looks fine now. But one day, it's going to be something like Krark Clan Ironworks, where, you know, it was docile for forever, but then at some moment it got broken in half, and then they had to deal with it. And sure, Krark Clan Ironworks doesn't go in any other deck, but this is a card that can go in multiple decks, but I do believe that there's going to be one deck, one day, breaks this card in half, because this free tutor is just too stupid. What do you think about using Deflecting Palm as a sideboard option for Hammer Time? It's okay. I mean, it'll be fine in burn, and it's very reliable, I think. It'll be a good idea. Deflecting Palm is sort of a Gotham card. For the most part, I don't like this card, but it does have its place in those matchups like Bogles, Hammer Time. Maybe even right now with the blue-red Murktide decks, because that large Murktide could get super big, and you could just deflect it right back at them. So it's not that bad of an idea. It works. And on top of that, if they Ragavan take this from you, it's useless, right? Well, I don't know about useless. Well, yeah, it's useless, because you just don't play anything until the end of turn. I'm with you, Sandshrews, my homeboy. Absolutely. Amazon, send some guys ton to convince him to stream on Twitch. Trevor Just, for blue counters that let you draw, how about Arcane Denial? It's like okay, but it's more of a I mean, it's okay. I think it would probably see play today. Or maybe not. Is this better than Remand? You get to counter the spell. Opponent gets to draw 2 cards. You get to draw a card. It might not be better than Remand now that I think about it. Remand is like your opponent draws 1 spell, the spell that you just put back in their hand, and you draw a card. Whereas this is like, it's like a 2 for 3. Yeah, maybe this wouldn't see play. Or it wouldn't see play over Remand in the right decks. Because this is a 2 for 3. Your opponent got a card, you got a card. Your opponent's card traded with the Arcane Denial, then you got 1 card and your opponent got 2. Not good. Not good value. A Baby Yeti, have you thought about doing a deck review for Pioneer sometime? You are welcome to submit Pioneer decks. I never said any, I didn't say you can't submit Pioneer decks. Go for it in Decklist review. We just have a ban on Commander decks because I don't know all the Commander cards and I don't want to read 100 fucking cards. And we have a ban on limited decks. It has happened. People are like, here's my limited deck, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Yeah, those are some nice playables you have. I really don't care. And like, even if I fix it, it's not like you can play it anywhere in the future. I mean, I understand there's still things to learn in limited, but that's not my cup of tea. Did you order some resealed boxes from Amazon? I hope not. It better have the right Wizards of the Coast packaging. Nikachu seeing it. Well, that's got to be an award to be unlocked. Do the Pokemon playthrough, you would get... Well, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty old. What do we got here? Ryan Harris, on topic of exile, could they make a card in black that could bring a card back from exile? Could they make a card in black to bring cards back from exile? They could probably do that. That sounds something like black would do. I think. They're the masters of the graveyard. They could be masters of the void. Spencer Ward, do you think Kaya or Zavu Super may be viable sideboard tech in this meta? Yes. There's a lot of 1-drops out there. A lot of 1-drops. So, I mean, I've always thought this card was a little underrated, especially in recent history, and probably just getting better even right now. A little less useful right now because there's less Death Shadow decks out there, because when there's more Death Shadow decks, this +1 is a huge beating. You exile cards and you gain life. Like, that's awesome. And the -1 is just very, very strong. And the -5 actually is also very strong in a, can be very strong in a Death Shadow meta game. And by the way, the 2 life helps against Death Shadow because of Scourge of the Skyclaves. That wasn't obvious. It doesn't help against literally the Death Shadow, but it helps against Scourge of the Skyclaves. Brazen Borrower and Honorary Merfolk? Absolutely. I'm using Brazen Borrower right now. I like the card. I like the stock. No, they take the counter off Urza now? I don't know what this is a response to, sorry. Bring back tucking as a way of removal? What is tucking? Oh, you mean like put it back into your deck? It's reasonable. They sort of have that with the, what's it called? The, they sort of have it with Ether Gust. That's what I was thinking of. Put it on the top or bottom of your opponent's library. Vampires or werewolves? Vampires. Vampires, I think, already have, like, so many good cards. There probably is a great Vampires deck out there. Even M. Hayashi went 5-0 with, like, a Vampires build of his own. Werewolves it's still pretty far away. Still pretty... The Wolfies, they still need some help. They got some good cards out there, but there's a lot of work to do. I hear you guys crying in chat. Or not crying, but like I hear the screams for hope. The screams of hope for the the werewolf community. Werewolf people, they want it to be a thing. But they need a lot of help still. Jack Torborg, it's too bad that Palm doesn't deflect the infected out damage in an infect way to the controller. It doesn't work? What is this? I don't know why anyone would go all in. I don't think Deflecting Palm looks good versus Infect anyway, but... The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to the source's controller. So does it still redirect the damage, but it's in the form of damage and not Infect? I mean, I've never played Deflecting Palm versus Infect. You can never stop Infect. Long live the Phyrexians. Does anyone know the interaction between Deflecting Palm and Infect? I don't have a damn clue. The way I'm reading this, I mean, it's 50-50. It deals damage to them or it deals Infect damage to them. Deflecting Palm deals the damage. Oh, I see. Okay. There we go. We got the ruling here. Thank you very much. But it still might be worth a lot. I mean, like, usually the Infect player, they use the pump spell. So, I mean, you're probably going to be shooting your opponent for 7 damage. It's probably pretty good. Deals damage back to them, but not Infect. Gotcha. Benjamin knows. Benjamin plays Infect. Good stuff. Thank you very much. We got the coffee crew here. For whatever I don't know, you guys do. Black needs some cheaper artifact removal. I think they have artifact removal, but it always comes at some giant cost, like a ton of life or something. But do they really need it? Like, what does mono black need for, like, artifact removal? Just splash a color if you need artifact removal. Every color gives you artifact removal. You splash white, you splash green, you splash red. Even blue will give you some sort of removal. You want to go at it alone, black? All right, you're on your own. Rick, do you have to pay mana to cast with Ragavan? Yes, you do. It's not free. Holy crap, would that be... So, a card will specifically tell you that you don't have to pay its mana cost. And if it doesn't say that, then you have to pay it. You may cast this, until end of turn. When it deals damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. So if it was free, it would say you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. My god, this would be fucking snap banned on day 1 if you could just cast stuff from your opponent's library for nothing. Don't give R&D any ideas. Don't give R&D ideas, chat. You can't do that. They're already I was asked yesterday in my Discord, Nikachu, what do you think is the metagame going to be in Historic? Like, I don't know. They are printing the 2 most powerful sets in the history of Magic into Historic. That format will be nothing whatever it once was. Say goodbye to that format. A very similar, I mean, just Modern Horizons 2 completely warped Modern. I mean, it's unrecognizable. I was defending for the longest time that Modern was not a rotating format, but holy shit. I mean, it makes a pretty good case that it is at this point. Like, the top 10 decks are nothing close to what we had 2 years ago. We have some similar players, like, from, like, a year ago. So, like, some decks that were on the rise, like Hammer Time, for example, are now really established, but... Yeah, make a Ragavan Planeswalker. I mean, they do stuff like that. You know, the most popular cards, they find their spark. Where do you think Nahiri came from? Because of the lore! Or, I don't know, the competitive lore. Stoneforge Mystic, so popular, comes a Planeswalker. What is the most overrated and underrated card in Modern? Overrated card, great question. Man, these are things like I think about, you know, in my spare time, but that when I get to the question, I'm not really thinking about it. Overrated card. You want to give me? I have to say one card, and that it's overrated. The hell's in this deck? Okay, Force of Negation. I think Force of Negation is a pretty overrated card. A lot of people don't think this card should exist. Mostly the fucking combo players, so fuck them. I really don't care. But this is a pretty grossly overrated card. This is a really clunky card. It's clunky. It's massive card disadvantage. It's awful. But it's sort of a necessity. I mean, you see even in this deck, they're only running one. They're only running one in the entire deck. But there are people who would absolutely hate this card because it's a free answer. We can't even play it on our turn. I mean, it would be a completely... you know, given the way they design these fucking elemental evoke creatures, Force of Negation should be played... well, I don't know. I don't think Force of Negation should be played on our turn because that would help the combo decks too much. So that's, you know, you got to keep that in check. But why were the evoke elementals allowed to be cast for free on their turn? So rude. Or they should just never be allowed to be cast at instant speed. Underrated card. I don't, maybe Unholy Heat. It's not underrated now, so I don't know if that counts, but I know this was like a very, very, very strong card. This is a very strong card, not on anyone's radar on day one of spoiler season. Just looking. Yeah, I guess those are gonna be my answers. Came out of the same deck, but whatever. We've got Yeppo with the $5 super chat, exercising your right for super chat. Since Modern now rotates, will you come play the superior standard format? No, I'm not playing standard. I mean, Modern, if anything, Modern is the superior rotating format. I mean, you at least can still play with the cards. The cards still exist in the format. Same cards, different deck. Look, if you had the Snapcaster Mages, the Lightning Bolts, the Force of Negations, the Expressive Iterations, the Serum Visions, the Thought Scours, the Mishra's Bauble, Fiery Islet, it's still good. It's still good. It's just not being played. It's just not only being played in the Prowess deck. You now also see it in these Ragavan decks, the Blue-Red Tempo decks, your Engineered Explosives. They're still good. They didn't lose value. Holy crap. Trials of the Void, going to the sky, going to the moon. Okay, we have to investigate this, people. You know my favorite fake graph website, mtgstocks.com. Chalice of the Void. To the moon. Whoa! Look at that. Boom. The market hasn't caught up to it yet, but that's why I call it like a fake graph website. Data's really cooked. I mean, the data's real. It's just that it's coming... people who are just overpricing these cards are skewing it. So as I understand, the average price is 74 or around 75 bucks, but people are only buying it for around $43. This is how I'm interpreting this. I don't know if Brazen Bar is underrated. It's a good, it's only good in a, I think it's only good in a deck. I mean, it's got its place. It's good in Chalice of the Void decks and Cascade decks. It's a good, it's accurately rated. My favorite blue card any format? Master of Waves. Too bad it sucks now. What do we got here? Aspiring Spike says it's the card that shapes Modern the most. In what respect? Like the underrated card? Do you watch Magic Aids at all? Curious what you think about his latest deck around Slad Fiend. I don't really watch Magic Aids all that much. Very rarely. I might watch him if literally one of his decks is actually showing up in the metagame and I just want to see how it originated. But for the most part, most of his decks either are already copies of ideas that existed. He's usually pretty original, or it's just like a deck that doesn't really see the light of day. It's not to say that he hasn't made some stuff in the past, but I mean, most of it is just a real well-crafted jank. We'll put it that way. Funa says, do you genuinely believe that playable but not overpowered 0 mana spells are impossible? Playable but not over... what do you mean by impossible? But I would say all of the 0 mana spells have the opportunity to be broken. Maybe not by themselves, but maybe there's some one specific 0 mana spell that takes things out of control. What do you mean by impossible? I'm not sure. Okay, I just have to take an interpretation to this and just go with it. Oh, I get it. So you think it's impossible to balance a 0 mana card? Yes, it's impossible to balance 0 mana cards. Like even cards that are what's called bone something. Bone shredder? No, it's not. What's the 0 mana Bonesaw? Bonesaw's ready. Even this saw playing up combo deck. There's a crappy combo deck, but there's a combo deck called Cheerios, where you play these 0 mana cards and you drew cards off of it. You played the 0 mana equipment. So even this random rubbish can be OP and create free wins by turn 2. So I don't think there's a good way to balance 0 mana cards, because they can just be powerful for the sake of being free to cast by themselves. Is Gutshot not balanced? It's pretty balanced. It's a pretty weak card for the 2 mana, and it's pretty fair. But, I mean, in theory, it could be busted. Like, Prowess was using Gutshot to really strong effect at one point. Yeah, Bonesaw like Inspire-Man, yeah. R.I.P. Well, let's see, can we put Bonesaw Spider-Man? What's gonna show up? There he is! What are you doing up there? I think the original Spider-Man movies were the best ones. It had a Spider-Man feel to it, in my opinion. The other ones, not quite the same feel. It's too bad. Toby, no other Spider-Man is Spider-Man. I don't want to sound like a boom or anything, but I think the OG series, movie series, was the best. I didn't really like the third one, to be honest. I love the first one with the Green Goblin, fantastic. Second one with Doc Ock, fantastic. Third one with they forced Venom in there, and you know what? The third one sucked. I can't defend that one. Don't like it. 2 thumbs down. But still, I think the first 2 make up for the third. They just forced Venom in there for no reason. And they have to have, and then they teamed up in the end. What the hell was that? To defeat the Sandman? Sorry, spoiler alert. Yeah, third Toby one sucked. That's right. We can all be in agreement there. I was the only one I saw I think it was the only one I saw in theaters. And I walked out and I'm like, wow, that was terrible. That was so bad. And then all my other friends around at the time was like, it wasn't that, hey, I enjoyed myself. And I'm like, I was just massively disappointed. Because Venom was in it, And there might have been some epic battle between Spider-Man and Venom. And they should have just focused, if they wanted to bring in Venom, they should just focus the whole movie on that. The whole movie. And it could have been a fantastic end. And then they brought back the Green Goblin in the end too. I don't know, it was a really awkward way to wrap it all up. I think they told the director, you gotta wrap it up. Hollywood said, wrap it up. You gotta wrap it up. You don't wrap it up, you're fired. And you're fired anyway. So anyway, he wrapped it up. Or maybe he had no power. The scriptwriter was like, we're told to wrap it up. And then the director's looking at this, oh my god, we're doing this? Oh man, I don't know what we're working with here. Anyway, you know what time it is, people. It's Decklist review time. Boom. All right, you got a 75 you want some feedback on? Myself and the coffee crew, we'd love to look at it. If you want to submit it, go into my description, join my Discord. There's a link to my Discord. Then you go to the channel called Decklist Review. And in Decklist Review, enter the command !review deck space, give the URL to your decklist, and you'll be chosen at random people, for Decklist Review. I swear it's random. Not bullshitting around. The fight scene around Spider-Man 2 is incredible. It was a great scene. It was great. Like, I really, you know, it was hard for me to believe, how are they going to top the first movie? But the second movie was solid. It was very, very good. They showed the insanity of, and you know, maybe it wasn't close enough to the comic books, because as the comic books show, Peter Parker had a girlfriend prior to Mary Jane, but she didn't really show up in the OG series. But who cares? I didn't really care. It was very forgivable. This reminds me of like Pierce Brosnan and James Bond. I like Pierce Brosnan the most as James Bond, but I only like GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies, and the other two movies were just terrible to me. So I have like an awkward feeling about defending Pierce Brosnan as the best James Bond. Because for me, GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies is way up above there. And you know what? I know a lot of people don't like Tomorrow Never Dies. I'm going to fucking die on that hill, though. I like that movie. Alright, let's look at some deck lists. Gwen Stacy, that's what it was. Can't remember her name very well. Have you watched Into the Spideyverse? I have not. Yeah, they just threw it. Yeah, I mean, that was another thing. They just threw Gwen Stacy in number 3. I mean, they just made a cannon fuck out of all that. You like Pierce? Ugh, I know. Truth be told, I have not seen enough of what's his name? The Craig guy. And I should be ashamed. I haven't seen like the last 3 or 4 Bond movies. Because I saw Casino Royale, and as a poker professional at one time, that was the most cringiest garbage of all time. And by the way, I like my James Bond. James Bond is a Baccarat player. He doesn't play fucking Texas Hold'em. And when they just, again, they're forcing in that culture in the movies. They just forced Texas Hold'em into the Bond movie because that's what was popular at the time. And it was just the dumbest poker scene of all time. They try to make it look like James Bond was outplaying everyone when really it was just a bunch of people with amazing hands. They all coolered each other. Anyway, it was really dumb. They sort of turned me off from the Craig. What's his name? Daniel Craig. That's it. Daniel Craig. We have people of culture in this. We know we were really off the fucking rails today. We talk about Pokemon, we talk about Spider-Man, we're talking about James Bond. Let's look at some deck lists. Alright, we've got a Spellslinger Bone Zone. Who the hell made this? Moth. Congratulations, Moth, you're the next contestant on Decklist Review. Maybe it's Math. No, it's Delta Moth. We've got 3 Gut Shot, busted cards, 0 mana in a what appears to be mostly. No, it's not even a prowess deck. You got 1 prowess creature. Dragon Rage Chandler. Demilich. You can cast from your graveyard. Isn't this going to be a little bit of a nombo? This costs 1 less to cast for every instant. You can cast this from your graveyard from exiling 4 instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard in addition to paying its other mana costs. Like the problem. Oh, you only have 1 Bedlam Reveler. Okay, I thought there was a play set in here, and I'm like, you have 8 cards that require the graveyard? I don't know if you have enough graveyard for all this stuff. But Nikachu, wasn't Eva Green the best Bond girl? I don't even know who this is. Oh, was this from the, I think this was from the second one? Was this the first or second one? I don't remember. Obviously forgettable. Sorry, Daniel Craig. I haven't watched enough of your movies. I should, though. At Arclight Phoenix, I don't know. There's actually not that many spells in this deck. There's only 20. Like, in terms of instant. Oh, no, hold on. Does it count any spell? Well, whatever. I think the creatures are fine. So you have 3 Gut Shot, 3 Lava Dart, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Metamorphose, 2 Mutagenic Growth. The mutagenic growth might be a bit awkward because a lot of your creatures aren't in play yet. So for example, the only thing that you have at 1 mana is Dragon Rage Channeler. If you don't have anything in play, how do you cast these things? Like, let's say you want to play a free... Let's say your board is empty and you have mutagenic growth and you need this mutagenic growth in order to cast your Stormwing entity for 2 mana on turn 2. Like, you can't. And Damlich is in play yet, and Bedlam Reveler's not in play, so the mutagenic growth might be a misstep in this build. Especially since you don't have any low-to-the-ground creatures, you might be better off with 4 Gut Shot, 4 Lava Dart over the mutagenic growth. If you have more things at a lower mana cost, like an actual Prowess deck does, Swift Spear, Monastery, Swift Spear, Soulscar Mage, I think it's defendable. You have Light Up the Stage. Also not a very good card in this deck, because you don't have anything early on to deal damage. See, this is also doesn't look very good. You know what would fix this? You probably should just not have one of these, or replace the Demolish with Swift Spear or something. You're making like a weird Prowess deck. It's like you took the Prowess shell and put Demolish in it. Didn't like... Let's look at... What did, How did... Modern is a Demolish with... Let's go see what he did for Demolish. Faithless... He played Faithless Salvaging. Charticore, Serum Visions. Okay, so like you see Aspiring Spikes version did play with Arc-like Phoenix and Dragon Rage Channeler and Demolish. But you see there's like none of these... he's running things like Serum Visions, Charticores, and not things like Light Up the Stage. These Light Up the Stage works because you've got these early these early creatures, Swift Spear, Soulscar Mage, that you can easily attack by turn 2, pay a red, and you get value. Whereas you have none of that here. Like, the moment you've played your payoff card like Damlich, you don't need Light Up the Stage anymore. So if you want to keep playing this build, I would suggest you get more things in the graveyard. So it could be like, instead of the 3 Light Up the Stage, add another Serum Visions. And maybe a Charticourse. Maybe Charticourse is worth it in this deck. Just so that you can get more things in the graveyard on turn 2. Where's Expressive Iteration? Did he play it? No, he didn't play Expressive Iteration. So actually, instead of... yeah, so instead of Light Up the Stage, add a Serum Visions. And maybe you should cut some Lava Darts in order to play... maybe 2 Lava Darts. Like I said, add a Lava Dart through mutagenic growth. Maybe cut 2 Lava Darts to add that Charticore, so that you can get cards in the graveyard for your Demolish and stuff. Although it's not going to interact, it's not going to... Maybe, you know what? Charticourse works better if you have Phoenix, but not Stormwing Entity. I would suggest if you want to play a Demolish deck, you should copy more things from this sort of list. Because you're throwing Demolish in a Prowess deck. And it doesn't work because you took out the Prowess creatures, which a lot of these, like things like Gut Shot, like the Prowess creatures use mutagenic growth, Gut Shot, Light Up the Stage, but Demolish doesn't. You gutted the Prowess creatures for this. Faithless Salvaging, probably stronger. Second turn it's free for Demolish. Okay, yeah, maybe Salvaging. Delver of Secrets in this deck? Not enough instants. I mean, maybe. Doesn't he need to the graveyard fill and discard spells since he doesn't have Phoenix? Well, I don't know about the well, you need something for Bedlam, Reveler, and Demolish. I would just say that. Anyway, I think, okay, let's look at the rest of this deck. 17 lands, I guess, is okay. Sideboard, Alpine Moon, Engineered Explosives, Prismatic... Why do you have Prismatic Ending in this deck? Do you have any white mana? You only have Manamorphose. Don't play Prismatic Ending. You don't have the mana for this card. Unless I'm missing something. Does anything else produce mana? We have 1 Sacred Foundry. Okay, keep it. But it's, you know, it's a bit iffy. 2 Shattering Spree, 3 Tormod's Crypt, 2 Unholy Heat. Just be conscious that you're throwing Demolich and taking out the prowess creatures and putting into a prowess shell. You just can't do that. So, I mean, take my words of wisdom and do what you will with it. Good luck with the deck. Ooh, Flesh and Blood. Can we talk about that a bit? Unfortunately, I don't know anything about Flesh and Blood except that apparently they have like super expensive cards in their boosters. They've got like super, I don't know, mythic cold foils. Super rare stuff that ends up being like $5,000 on the market. But seems like it's a good trading card game. And here's the funny thing about Flesh and Blood. Apparently, they are just completely ripping off Magic's old system for the Pro Tour. And it's working! Why? I mean, they'll be like, well, it's like Wizards of the Coast throw out in the garbage the old system for the Pro Tour, you know, qualifying through PTQs, etc. And Flesh and Blood is like dumpster diving. And they're like, hey, look at this. This is great. We just got to clean it off and then, you know, rebrand, you know, just clean off that Wizards logo and we rebrand it with Flesh and Blood. And boom, they're doing great. So they're that's a trading card game that is growing more and more in popularity. All right, next one. Why is my enter button done? No, my enter button don't work on Discord no more. All right, who do we got? We've got Raz Nab with Mardu Suicide White. I think this is supposed to be yeah, Delver's dead. Well, I mean, Delver might come back if they ban Ragavan. I could see Delver as a pretty good replacement to Ragavan because Delver and Dragon Rage Chandler actually work really well together. No, you need the Bauble for Dragon Rage Chandler. It's not, and also I think it works too anyway. What is going on here? Okay, hold on. This is apparently a Mardu Suicide White. Ardent Recruit. Gets +2/+2 as long as you control 3 more artifacts. Oriok Sun Chaser. As long as you need artifacts in this deck. Gets +2/+2 in flying. Benevolent Bodyguard. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Is that better than the dog? Court Homunculus. Court Homunculus gets +1/+1 as long as you control another artifact. Okay, this is at least an artifact. Ginger Brute, that's an artifact. Immolating Soul Eater. For a Phyrexian, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That's not bad. That's not bad. So in theory, you could like pay 8 life and give it +4/+0. Loyal Cathar, Vigilance. When it dies, return to the battlefield, transformed under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So it's basically like it has Undying. It's like Undying before. I think Undying existed at the time. Why do they word it like this? Oh, but it comes in. But it actually comes in at the end step. So what's the flip side? Unhulled. It can't block, but it's a 2/1. Whatever. You get an extra creature. Porcelain Legionnaire. Why does this matter to the deck? Porcelain Legionnaire, artifact creature, standard bearer. If an opponent plays, what's the format? It's Pauper. Okay, we're in Pauper world here. Get your Pauper caps out, okay? Don't be leaving because you think this is a modern deck. And we have Vault Scourge. Bonds of Faith. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 as long as it's a human. Otherwise, it can't attack or block. Journey to Nowhere. It's funny seeing Journey to Nowhere. Complete rubbish common. Seeing play in Pauper. Bone Splitter. Bone Saw would be proud. Flare Husk. Corrupt creature gets +1/+1. Ancient Den, Darksteel Citadel. Is there not the come into play tapped artifact lands? Maybe it's too clunky, but I would consider it. Instant, we have Double Cleave. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Sure, I'm not a fan of these sort of cards. This deck needs Shatterstorm. I heard it's the card. It is the card in Pauper. Okay, do we have any thoughts on this? Okay, white aggro deck that uses life as a resource to quickly outpace the opponent in damage has an artifact synergy that allows for cheap, efficient beaters. So my only fear is that some of these says you have to have 3 or more artifacts. You may not have enough artifacts. Like, you might get 1 to 2 a turn. So you have 4, 7, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22. I don't know if you can get 3 artifacts in play. That's the problem. So you need like oh no, you have more artifacts, sorry. You actually maybe you can get 2 consistently in play. But this is all assuming no one removes any of these artifacts. The OG artifact line. Yeah, they're well that we have we only have 14 white sources, so we can't play anymore. Oh, Thraben Inspector, that's a good one. Thraben Inspector might be worth it, and it seems like good value. Maybe it's better. Well, I think you need some number of these guys to protect your crap. 1 mana 2/2, it's not bad. Maybe instead of the Loyal Cathar, because this thing has no synergy in the deck whatsoever. It's not an artifact. It's not impressive. It could be Thraben Inspector. If an opponent plays a spell or ability that could target Flag Bearer in play, that player chooses at least 1 Flag Bearer as a target. That's interesting. So it's like a misdirection. But you only have 1 in the deck. You know, I would go all in with more synergy. You know, Benevolent Bodyguard should be your standard. Either you play another Benevolent Bodyguard, or we're going to play more Thraben Inspectors instead of this Loyal Cathar and the standard Bearer. Giant creature, it gets +2/+2 as it's a human, otherwise it can't attack or block. I actually don't like these cards. Dream Nowhere is fine, it's removal, but this is like asking to be 2 for 1. Is this really that good? Maybe the standard Bearer should be a Benevolent Bodyguard, because I don't mind cards like this. But then the next Loyal Cathar and 2 Bonds of Faith should be Thraben Inspector. It's Inspector. Treasure Vault is not common, so we're playing with some illegal cards. Where's Treasure Vault? What are you guys talking about? Oh, maybe somebody... Oh, someone was mentioning something? Oh, this. Okay, yeah. Not common. This is Pauper. We're looking at Pauper, people. It's a Pauper world. Yeah, legit great feedback. Yeah, I see. I figured it out. Okay, so I probably should remove another Bonds. Like, this is just a crap card, right? I don't know Pauper. Maybe like auras like this have some place in it, but it seems like garbage to me. You're just asking to be 2 for 1. The removal might not be great, but removal is still removal. But I think like these cards are a little far-fetched. Getting the 3 artifacts that aren't removed is going to be difficult, but it's going to be worth it if you can, and we need more artifacts. So like removal, we're going to get 4 Thraben Inspectors in there. Not enough Squirrel Storm cards. Maybe add some. Well, I mean, that's like saying you don't have enough Tarmogoyfs in your deck. That's supposed to be a good card in Modern. Where's your Tarmogoyfs? Or today, it's like, where's your Ragavan? Why aren't you playing Ragavan in your deck? Fools. Okay, I think that's some pretty good feedback. I cannot speak for the sideboard whatsoever. I'm just going to... Well, okay, I will say this sideboard sucks. Like, these cards should just be in the main deck if they're in the sideboard. Like, sideboard isn't, like, generally for round... I mean, you can make that argument. What is this? Instant double cleave? Okay, that's fine. You could make the argument that, you know, you have some deck cards, you have some, like, I don't know, sus cards in the main deck that need to be rounded out with random creatures, but this still feels wrong. and 2 Immolating Soul Eaters. Like, you have a lot of just your generic cards from your main deck in your side. Like, these aren't... Disenchant is a real sideboard card. Mana Tithe could be a real sideboard card. Sunlance is a real sideboard card, but there's just a lot of rubbish in here. Splashing red in Pauper is a nightmare. So we're going to stick to mono white. Is Lotus Petal legal in Pauper? I don't have a damn clue. Wow. Wow. And it can be expensive if you have the Kaladesh Invention. It's pretty, though. Imagine a Pauper deck playing with this super expensive Lotus Petal. Okay, sideboard. Dust to Dust. Exile artifacts. Good in Pauper now. Okay, so on Dust. We need sideboard card suggestions here. Dust to Dust. Here we go. Dust to Dust. Exile 2 artifact. This looks great. This is a great card. I mean, they have the Disenchant, so I don't know if this is overkill. But, you know, this is a sideboard card. Yes, my Pauper deck is $1,200. You pimped it out with all the good foils, didn't you, Greg? Didn't you? Just flexing on those poor Pauper players. Like, for that amount of money, I could have all the Pauper decks in Pauper. Is Pauper restricted by the reserved list at all? Is there, like, does it have any problems similar to Legacy? 'Cause there might be some commons that are very good that are on the reserved list. But I could be wrong. Maybe the reserve list never had any commons. Tormod's Crypt, not sure how much graveyard synergy is there. Yeah, Tormod's Crypt is it's a card. And it also has synergy with the deck too. Tormod's Crypt is a great suggestion. No reserve list commons? Alright, that answers the question. Oh, there are, but no issues so far. Does Pauper have graveyard decks? Who cares? Let's throw the Tormod's Crypt in there. We're just gonna throw it in there. Because, I don't know, this sideboard is awful. This is an awful sideboard. What does this even do? Crypt creature has this creature deals 1 damage to our creature or player. That could be useful. Like, if you're up against a deck with a bunch of 1 toughness creatures, I could see that useful. Maybe you should double this. You should have a second one. If we start playing Memnite, we start getting, like, closer to the, like, an actual affinity deck. It was an expensive common, but it wasn't on the reserve list. Okay, I think that's some pretty good feedback. Thank you very much, Coffee Crew. You did the job. Because without the Coffee Crew, I'd have no chance of helping out in Pauper. But I actually think that was good. We have some Tormod's Crypt for graveyard hate, but also synergy with artifacts. We got the Thraben Inspector in there. We cleaned up a little bit of that main deck. So thank you very much for showing up today. If you want to check the replay, Nikachu MTG streams, my alternate YouTube channel, to check out all the goodness of the replays. If I didn't get your questions, comments, or deck list, hey, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. But if you're early, you might have to wait, because I'm always late. Oh, that works so well. If you're early, you might have to wait, because I'll always be late. It sounds great, but it also sounds so bad. If you want to support the channel and you don't do so already, you could always drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. Give me your Twitch Prime. Send it. You just connect. You go to Twitch, like Prime Gaming. Connect your account, your Prime, and then you give me money. It's free if you have Twitch Prime already. You could also become a patron at patreon.com, or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone, for your help, your wonderful company, and we're gonna chug along through this 2021 together. So keep brewing up those coffees, and we will keep brewing up magic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.